Hey everybody, nice to see you. Thanks so much. It's great to see you all here. Great to see this very robust, healthy, vaccinated, masked audience. Great to see you. And great to have our friends joining us online. Hope the signal's coming through loud and clear. Hope online you're making lots of noise in the chat box, and you'll be as boisterous as I'm sure our in-house audience will be. Yeah, show them your stuff, guys. Come on, show them your stuff. All right, so that's what we're looking for online. So by God, we're back here. We were very lucky last year. We had a surprisingly good Northern Roots 2021. Largely thanks to the leadership of an initiative of my wife, Becky Tracy, who kind of coordinated a lot of that. Had a lot of great online, yeah, go ahead. We had a lot of great online teaching workshops and jam sessions and some beautiful performances. But you know, there's just some things that you don't quite get online, and that's just the energy of having a bunch of different musicians sharing the stage in one way or another. So it is exciting to kind of actually have a live version of the show back here again. So the other thing that's very exciting for me is that we have one foreigner playing for us tonight, and by that I mean somebody from Boston, and that's Hanukkah, who will be playing later on. But the rest of the program, all right, settle down. But the rest of the program, we have a very strong, what we can call local lineup. The first three acts, and even part of the fourth act, are all sort of local people. And that's very exciting, partly because some of these local players have been in the community for a long time, and some of these people that we're now calling local have just been with us for a few years. So for me, that's sort of like, it's a great feeling that the local traditional music scene continues to grow. So that is in part the case for part of our opening act. Opening act consists of Dan Houghton, a great Scottish player on the pipes. Come on out, guys. Dan, who many of you will know from his work with the Scottish power trio, Cantrip. I think of Dan as being kind of a hidden treasure, and I say that because Dan lives nearby in the woods somewhere. No one is really sure exactly where he lives, but he's come out of hiding and he's out on stage for us tonight. And we have Rachel Clementi playing with Dan. When did you move to town?
Right before the pandemic.
Right before the pandemic, Rachel ended up in Brattleboro. And you know, the harp population of Brattleboro increased by a factor of 3 or something. I don't know. It went up by a lot. And Rachel has already had great connections in the community, including here at the BMC. She was involved in a week-long workshop here at the BMC last summer with a harp maker. And together, Rachel and the harp maker had an intergenerational class of people making harps, and then Rachel got them going on the instruments. So we're so lucky to have Rachel here in town with us now, and we're very lucky to have them both on stage. Make welcome Dan Houghton and Rachel Clementi.
All right. Well, yeah, we're good. Hi, folks. It's lovely to be playing for you this evening, just sitting in front of a live audience. So, as Keith said, I'm Rachel Clementi, and this is Dan Houghton. Oh, yeah, with one mic here. So we're going to start off with a set of 2 tunes. The first one is called Les Danses des Condamnés, or The Dance of the Condemned. And this is, I might hand this over to Dan to tell the story about this one.
Thank you. I feel like I should start rapping or something, or do this introduction in sort of beat poetry style. The tune, yeah, La Danse des Condamnés. I composed it kind of as it was originally kind of an interlude in the middle of a song that I was recording. And every time I played it, it does sound very much like several different Breton andros kind of chopped and spliced together. Then I sort of left it the paper lying around, and this one over here got hold of it and composed a second part for it, which is lovely, except that it sounds a lot happier than the original vibe, which was a little bit of a, ironically, a little bit of a downer for me. Then we're going to follow that with an Irish tune called The Green Mountain. Yes? Right, I'm going to put this down now before I hurt someone.
Thank you guys very much. All right, so we're going to carry on with a wee jig here that I composed around the start of the pandemic. It's called Dan's Jig. What?
Are you not doing the other one first?
Oh, you want me to do that one first? Okay. All right, I'll backtrack. So, first tune, it's called Fell Court. It was written by a good friend of mine named Sam Mabbitt. He's a box player, button box player, lives over in Glasgow. And then it's going into Dan's Jig. And so I wrote this tune, during the start of the pandemic when I was pretty sure Dan had COVID, was going to die of COVID, and it turned out to be a cold. So anyway, we can laugh about it. Yeah. All right, so here's Fell Court into Dan's Jig. Of course, I had to break a string right before this.
Thanks very much, folks. I'm going to switch up the equipment here and play a couple of. Excuse me there. So we're going to play a couple of pipe tunes. Well, Rachel gets mad when I call them pipe tunes because there are other things as well. But we're gonna start out with what's called a dandling song. And for those of you unfamiliar with what dandling is that thing where you take a baby and you put it on your knee and you bounce it up and down, either until it falls asleep or it vomits on you. And we're going to kind of mix it with a bit of Kilmore, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the high holy traditional bagpiping and harping music from the great old country in ye old days of yore, it's a very kind of stylized thing which people get very passionate and enthusiastic about. And so we're going to take some pieces of one of these tunes, which in the Gaelic is called Cua na Marav, which translates as Lament for the Dead, which sort of slightly ironic, but sort of encompasses both ends of life between dandling and dying. And we're going to play a wee reel that I think comes from. Yeah, it's from the Highland and Cape Breton tradition, and it's one of these things that, people who, when they used to do step dancing, like traditional step dancing, rather than the, arms at the sides, kicking themselves in the face kind of thing. The only place to do that type of thing that wasn't, knee deep in muck or surrounded by animals or whatever was to go out to, the local bridge, which, was a nice flat, hard surface, and they could dance all they liked. So you get a lot of these tunes called like Stepping on the Bridge or Dancing on the Bridge or Dancing on the Grave, whatever. I'll finish off with a Highland reel called Glen Lion. And I believe the egg timer is telling us that this is probably going to be our last one, so before we play this tune and then depart the stage. Thanks so much for coming out and braving the disease and pestilence and contagion and creating some sort of semblance of musical, social normality. Anyway, here we go.
All right, Dan Houghton, take it to Mickey. Lovely, very classy, very classy. So I said at the outset that we have a bunch of local musicians. In this next act, we actually have, certainly for tonight, and maybe, I don't know, maybe ever in Brattleboro. Some of us, have lived in Brattleboro for a long time. Very few of us can actually say that they were born and bred in Brattleboro, but that's what we have in our next act. Arthur Davis, who I remember when he was about this big, and he would have his little recorder. He would come along to gigs that we did with Andy, and he played there, and we would see him around. And he was a Morris dancer up on Putney Mountain, and he's been truly steeped in the traditional music scene of Brattleboro. So it's great to have him here. And Emma had a big, solid family background in classical music, but hit the folk world at Oberlin, that great sort of folk music nexus, and that's where these guys actually cross paths. And I just remember one of the things that we've kind of been going without for the past while is the amazing pub sing, the monthly pub sing we used to enjoy at McNeil's Pub, and that amazing sensation of having a room full of people singing songs together, but also sharing songs back and forth. And I remember several times being there when these guys were there, and when they would sort of take their moment to kind of sing a song either together or separately was always a beautiful thing. So delighted to have Arthur Davis and Emma Schneider here doing a little set of traditional song for us. Make them welcome.
We rigged our ship with lines of silver way.
Way, we'll all come down.
We set our sails in New England waters way.
Way, gonna bring her around.
Oh, we scraped her decks till our backs grew strong to me way.
Way,
and
we'll all come down.
We scocked our seams with strands of oakum way.
Way,
gonna
bring her around.
Oh, we oiled the rails with hands of a linseed way.
Way,
and
we'll all come down.
We sailed her up to the Beaufort Sea to me way.
Way, gonna bring her around.
Oh, we sewed her sails with threads of seaweed way.
Way, we'll all come down.
We sailed her into Decorah Dee to me way. Hey, gonna bring her around. Oh, we filled their decks with bales of hay to me way.
Hey, all come down.
We ran her down to Casco Bay to me way.
Hey,
gonna bring her round. Oh, we filled her hull with a rum for the winter way.
Hey,
and we'll all come down. We ran her down to Oak Bluffs Harbor way.
Hey, gonna bring her around.
Oh, we rigged our ship with lines of silver way.
Hey,
and we'll all come down. We set our sails in New England waters way. Hey, gonna bring her around. Thanks so much. It's great to see so many familiar faces. And that was a song, the one composed song that we are singing tonight by Cindy Callett up there in Maine. It has a special resonance for me, though. I used to work on a schooner out in the Pacific Northwest, and we did sing a lot on the boat, and we sang that song a lot, and so fun to have memories of working on a boat that singing was a daily part of what we did. Our next song
is another song that's on the water, and it's one of the first traditional songs that I learned back in the days of Oberlin. And I learned it from a recording of Cockersdale, and it's called The Weary Cutters. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. They've pressed him far away foreign, with Nelson out on the salt sea. They've pressed him far away foreign, and no more my laddie I'll see. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. They always come in the night, they never come in the day. They always come in the night to steal my laddie away. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. When I look to the north, I look with a watery eye. And when I look to the south, I see my laddie go by. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. I'll give the cutters a guinea, I can't give the cutters no more. I'll give the cutters a guinea to steal my laddie ashore. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me.
So with this next one, I want to have a big shout out to Mr. Tony Barrand, from whom I learned this next song. I got a chance to spend a bunch of time when I was in college singing with Tony for a month, learning a lot of songs from him, and this is one of them. It's a song from the singing of A.L. Lloyd, who was a song collector and singer in the early 1900s in England, and it's about Napoleon, and has some of my favorite turns of phrases in all songs that I've ever learned. So, the grand conversation on Napoleon. It was over that wild beaten track, a friend of the bold Bonaparte did pace the sands and lofty rocks on St. Helena's shore. The wind it blew a hurricane, the lightning's flash around it dart, and the grand conversation on Napoleon arose. Ah, England, he cried, why did you persecute that hero bold? Much better had you slain him on the plains of Waterloo. But being near that Russian land, he was overcome with frost and snow, while Moscow was a-blazing and the men drove to and fro. Napoleon dauntless viewed the flames and wept in anguish for the same. He cried, retreat, my gallant men, for time do swiftly go. While thousands died on that retreat, some were their horses forced to eat, and the grand conversation on Napoleon arose. At Waterloo the French they fought, commanded by great Bonaparte, assisted by Field Marshal Ney, but he was bribed with gold. When Blucher led the Prussians in, it nearly broke Napoleon's heart. He cried, "My 30,000 men are slain, and I am sold." He viewed the plains and cried, "It's lost." Then was his favorite charger crossed. The plains were in confusion with blood and dying woes. The bunch of roses did advance, and boldly entered into France. And the grand conversation on Napoleon arose. It was over that wild beaten track, a friend of the bold Bonaparte did pace the sands and lofty rocks on St. Helena's shore. The wind it blew a hurricane, the lightning's flash around it dart, and the grand conversation on Napoleon arose.
And the last song that we have for you is about another bold gentleman. It's an even older song, I suspect. And it feels like one of those songs with a rousing, this is how it was supposed to end feeling, but we didn't like the ending anymore, so we changed it so that it still has that rousing, that's how it's supposed to end feeling.
We didn't change it very much.
We didn't change it very much, but you might notice the end isn't quite what you expect if you know this song already. Ready?
All right, yeah.
Bold Sir Iles a-hunting went all along and down a lee. Oh, bold Sir Iles a-hunting went down by the riverside. Bold Sir Iles a-hunting went to catch some game was his intent. Down by the grove where the wildflowers grow and the green leaves fall all around, he spied a wild woman sitting in a tree. All along and down a lee, good Lord, what brings you here, said she. Down by the riverside, there is a wild boar in this wood. He'll eat your flesh and drink your blood. Down by the grove where the wildflowers grow and the green leaves fall all around, he put his horn unto his mouth. All along and down a lee, and blew it east, northwest, and south. Down by the riverside, it drew the wild boar from his den, bringing his children, 9 or 10 of them. Down by the grove where the wildflowers grow and the green leaves fall all around. Then bold Sir Iles the wild boar fell on. All along and down a lee, and bold Sir Iles the wild boar fell on. Down by the riverside, he fought him 9 hours all the day, until that boar would have run away. Down by the grove where the wildflowers grow and the green leaves fall all around. Oh, now you have killed my spotted pig. All along and down a lee, oh, now you have killed my spotted pig. Down by the riverside, there are 3 things you'll have of me, your horse and your hound and your fair lady. Down by the grove and the wildflowers grow and the green leaves fall all around. Oh yes, I have killed your spotted pig. All along and down a lee, oh yes, I have killed your spotted pig. Down by the riverside, there's not one thing you'll have of me, not my horse, nor my hound, nor my fair lady. Oh, down by the grove where the wildflowers grow and the green leaves fall all around. Then bold Sir Iles the wild woman fell on. All along and down a lee, and bold Sir Iles the wild woman fell on. Down by the riverside, she knocked knocked him right onto the ground until his head spun round and round down by the grove where the wildflowers grow and the green leaves fall all around.
Lovely, yeah. There's nothing just like unaccompanied voices like that in harmony. So beautiful. So at the festival over the years, we tend to sort of skew a little bit, I would say, towards a lot of Irish music. We've often had French Canadian and Scottish, and we have had English country dance music before, but not for a little while. So we're so lucky to have these two really preeminent players in the world of English country dance music. So Karen Axelrod, so Karen on piano. If you haven't heard this, like the piano style in English country dance it's a lot more demanding, I would say, in a lot of ways than some other kinds of accompaniment. It tends to be a lot more open to kind of improvisation, a lot of different sort of colors and stuff. And Karen, there's few people who can match Karen like in terms of like her artistry and creativity in that. So we're so lucky to have Karen. She plays for dance events for all over the country and has done for many, many years. Rachel, also a big presence in the English country dance scene. Rachel also does a lot of playing for other kinds of dancing, including French dancing, which she's done a lot of with my wife Becky. They're kind of a big part of the sort of resurgence or the surgence of traditional French dancing in America. So once again, two people. How long have you guys been in Brattleboro?
3 years for me and a year and a half.
There you go. So a year and a half for Karen, 3 years for Rachel. So you know, pretty recent arrivals, and we couldn't be happier than to have them in our community and to have them here for the Northern Roots Festival. Karen and Rachel.
is so nice to be here and play for people like you. This is a real high. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to stay up here for 2 hours and play. I hope that's anyway. A treat to be here. So those were some English country dance tunes. The first one was Bar a Bar. The second one is Minor Spaniard, somewhat recently composed but based on a dance called the Spaniard. The tune was modified by Jenny Beer, a contemporary person. Bar a Bar was written in the 1700s by not a contemporary person. Do you want to say anything?
Sure. I just want to say also that it's really nice to see you all. It's like real people, a real piano. What more could we want? I love this festival so much. This is like, has been one of the absolute highlights of moving to Brattleboro, is like experiencing this festival and being involved in it, and seeing all of you every year. It's really wonderful that this happens. So we're gonna play something that you can pronounce better than I can, so.
Noisette is the dance name. It's an English country dance by Philippe Callens. And the tune is by John Stapleton, an English man.
So we're going to wrap it up with a set of tunes that starts with one that may be quite appropriate for this weekend because it is called the Monterey Plowman. I wrote this tune for our dear friend and bandmate Eric Martin, and it is named Plowman because he is in charge of plowing the snow at the organization where he works and lives, and so he might be doing quite a lot of that if we're lucky this weekend. How many of you actually want it to snow? Yeah. So we'll send Monterey Plowman out to Eric Martin. This has an English country dance written to it by Susan Kevra. And then we're going into Hop Ground, which is an old tune, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And this tune actually also always makes me think of Eric because we recorded it together on our album with our band Alchemy, which is the three of us. So sending this whole set out to Eric, and thanks to you again for being here, and thanks to Becky and Keith and the BMC and everybody for making this happen. It's a really fun event.
All right, last up, we have another blast of Scottish music. In the French Canadian scene, I'm just going to sort of step aside from the actual musical content, but in the French Canadian scene, there was a big revival in the 70s and a bunch of bands that kind of came out of that. And then by the sort of late 90s, 2000s or so, I feel like there was like another wave of kind of new, younger bands. And one of the great bands from that era was Gentilcorum, a band founded by Jan over here on guitar. And Jan has been, give it up. One more time. Jan, yes! He's so sensitive. But Jan just has been like this amazing presence in the French Canadian scene. And my God, he's now living in Westminster West. So once again, we're very blessed. And I'm personally very lucky because Jan and I enjoy a lot of music together as well. So couldn't be happier than to have Jan in the neighborhood. Hanukkah Castle, oh my God. I've played with Hanukkah for many years, and I think one of the places that we met was as part of this big band called Child's Play, which years ago had come to Brattleboro. This big mega band of this incredibly powerful, fantastic fiddle players, and you would not fail to notice Hanukkah in that scene. Hanukkah is a powerhouse, and I've been lucky to tour with her for many years as part of her trio. She's an incredible composer of tunes. She's written, I don't know, how many tunes have you written? Many. And if you go around to some of the big camps of Scottish music, you just hear all these kids playing Hanukkah Castle tunes because they all just want to be like Hanukkah Castle. And you're about to see why. Please welcome Hanukkah Castle and Jan Folke.
so much. It's amazing to be here. I've heard about this festival for years and haven't gotten up here yet, and it's so fun to be playing with Jan. During the pandemic, it was this thing that happened a while ago. I don't know if you heard about it, but Jan and I were living really close to each other, and I wanted to make an album of traditional tunes. I had been singing, I played Scottish fiddle music, and I was just recording all these tunes I wrote. And so I decided to record all the tunes that I learned when I was a teenager, most of which I learned on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. And I just picked the most overplayed popular tunes that I just loved so much. And we made this album of all these tunes, and so those jigs were some of the tunes from that album. The first one was called, oh my gosh. The second one was called The Jig of Slurs, and the third one was called Athol Highlanders. And I will remember the name of the first one later. Oh, Patty's Leather Breeches. Oh, I should have asked Dan. So those are some pipe jigs. We played those for Dan, and now we'll play some reels. These were just some tunes that I loved. I learned most of them on the Isle of Skye, and the first one is called The Spay and Spate, and then there's some other tunes after that.
Thanks so much. I still feel like every time I play music for real people, I'm like so like overjoyed and grateful. So thank you so much for being here tonight and coming out, doing what you have to do to come out, and we really appreciate having all of you listen to us. It's different when you play for a computer for like 2 years. Well, those were some tunes from Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia, and we're kind of just hitting like different parts of the Scottish scene here, and we'll play one last set of tunes, and these are all from Shetland Island, over off the northeastern corner of Scotland. They have a lot of Scandinavian influences, and this slow air is actually one of the first airs I ever learned in the Scottish scene, and yeah, I learned it from a great fiddle player out in Washington named Callum McKinnon. And I just remember hearing a wonderful fiddle player named Ali Bain play this tune. You may have heard of him. So we'll end with this tune. It's called Da Schlacket Light, and then a bunch of very well-known Shetland tunes, which you will probably recognize, and you can feel free to dance around. Thank you so much for coming out. This is Jan Falke on guitar.
And on fiddle, the one and only Hanneke Castle.
We're going to bring out the whole gang here for one last number. Amazing. Great Scottish fiddle playing right there. I just want to echo Rachel's excitement for the prospect of snow. I just wish it was coming on Sunday. But we're going to be fine tomorrow. We're going to have another great concert, a whole other lineup here tomorrow night. And I think the snow will have kind of tapered off at that point. We're going to be doing an online Irish session streamed live from here. If you're an Irish player, it's going to be really great. And even just for listening, it's going to be really great tunes. And then on Sunday, we're going to stream again. We're going to stream some French-Canadian tunes, Jan and I, with Eric Boudman coming out from Boston, great fiddle player. I just want to make sure that you guys know this. I work incredibly hard on this festival. I just want you to know I spend hours and hours planning and writing emails, and I still don't work as hard as Carol Compton, who was just out here on the stage. Carol just does amazing work. And of course, everybody here at the BMC, we're so very grateful to have this home for the festival. We were just setting up, and I just came into the hall again, and I just thought, oh my God, we just have this place that we can use. We're so lucky. So we're going to wrap it up with one big finale of tunes. From Jan, Karen, Honecker, Rachel, Dan, Rachel, Arthur, and Emma. Give it up for them.